a little tour of the neighborhood where we've been staying here in Aguascalientes. There's plenty of commercial stuff, shops, restaurants and things like that. Definitely a nice, safe neighborhood. It's very peaceful. It's very relaxed. It's very nice. Hello everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to Aguascalientes. Aguascalientes, Mexico. Today is actually our last video from here in Aguascalientes. And as always, we're going to take you around a little tour of the neighborhood where we've been staying here in Aguascalientes. So come along. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you want to help out the channel and help it grow, I really would appreciate it. Click on the like button down there, the subscribe button, and the little bell next to it to be notified for when new videos drop. It really helps the channel grow because it's going to help the YouTube algorithm recognize this content and spread it to other YouTube viewers. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily, I would appreciate that as well. You can leave a super thanks by clicking this thanks button here and give a small donation to the channel. I appreciate your support. So back to the video. Enjoy. So here in Aguascalientes, we've been staying in a neighborhood that I don't actually know the name of this neighborhood. It's kind of in a little like tucked in between a couple different neighborhoods. To the south of here, there's a neighborhood called El Dorado, and to the north is a neighborhood called San Marcos, which is like the famous neighborhood, famous for the fair of San Marcos, the San Marcos fair that happens here every year. So I don't know exactly what this neighborhood is, but it's tucked in between, like just to the south of us is the ring road, the large ring road that goes around Aguascalientes. I'll show you here on the map. You can see there's a road that makes a big ring around the city, and it's the like Avenue of the Convention of 1914. And that's actually the street that's right up here, like just another block up where you can see all the traffic going. And that road actually goes all the way around the city. And since we're only a couple blocks away from it here in this neighborhood, it's quite nice because right up here on this road, you can catch the bus. There's many different bus lines that run through here and stop at a couple of different bus stops that are like right along the road, just a 5-minute walk maybe away from the apartment where we've been staying. One of them is like right over there in front of the gas station. Right over there. There's another one like down that way, about a half a block down. So and also on this side of the street, one just down there. There's plenty of public transportation access here in this neighborhood, which is nice. But this neighborhood is not exactly like some of the other neighborhoods where we've been staying. It's not as like tightly packed with cafes and restaurants and shops, even though there is some here, like a cafe. There's right across the street there, this really delicious carnitas restaurant that I've been to a couple of times. But this isn't like a super packed neighborhood as far as like it being very walkable and there being just like cafes and restaurants all over the place. Some of the neighborhoods where we stayed have been like that. This one, not so much. In fact, more so around here I find things like tire shop over there, some mechanic shops, furniture stores, what else? Like auto parts stores, paint stores and things like that. And it makes sense because this neighborhood is like, it's close enough to El Centro, but it's not like right next to it. In fact, it's kind of more out on the edge of the city, out by the ring road. But because Aguascalientes is a pretty small city, it's actually pretty quick to get where you need to go. The bus from here to El Centro takes about, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. If you take an Uber, it's a lot faster. And one of the other good things about where we're located here along the ring road is that if you end up taking an Uber, to like Centro, it's not that expensive. And the times where I've taken Uber and instead of the bus, not very expensive. About, I don't know, $3 or so to get to El Centro, and about $4 to get over to the Complejo Tres Centurias, the 3 Centuries complex, where we filmed that video from that complex in the old railroad yard. But this neighborhood does have some, like a few pretty interesting things in it and useful things. There is an OXXO right here on the corner. There are little supermercados around, sort of like dotted in amongst the different parts of the neighborhood. This street here is one of the major avenues that runs through the city, so there's a lot of commercial stuff along here. In fact, down this way, maybe like, I don't know, 4 or 5 more blocks down that way, there is a large mall that's in the El Dorado neighborhood. It's the Centro Comercial El Dorado, the El Dorado Mall. And there is actually a large, like big supermarket, like a big supermarket. One with, it's actually a hipermercado. It's called, I don't remember the name of it, Sonoria, maybe? Hipermercado. It's like a big superstore. You can get groceries there, but you can also get, you know, clothes, housewares, you know, like a Walmart kind of, like a big super Walmart with a grocery store and everything in it. And it's easily walkable, like it's easy to walk to it. And actually, like, it's only a few blocks down this way. I think we're gonna turn here. And you can just check out a few blocks down this way is the bus station. One of the other things that's really nice about this neighborhood is it's close to the main bus terminal of Aguascalientes. Now, we've been to neighborhoods before with their bus terminals, like the major bus terminal for the city, and a lot of the times I've mentioned that I would not want to stay in that neighborhood because a lot of the times the neighborhood around the bus terminal is pretty sketchy. But this is not the case here in Aguascalientes, which is really nice. This neighborhood never really felt sketchy to me when I was walking around it. Aguascalientes itself is a very safe city. As far as cities in Mexico, it's one of the safer ones. And walking around, especially around this neighborhood, it always felt pretty safe to me. You can see the mall about a block down there past the old Little Caesars. I want to get off the main street here because I did want to mention along the major streets, it's a little noisy from the road noise, of course, but what I liked about this neighborhood and the neighborhoods next to it, because actually here, now that we've crossed the ring road there, we're sort of in a different neighborhood, even though it feels very similar. What I liked about these neighborhoods is they're actually really quiet and very peaceful, which is really, really nice, especially after having been in Mexico City, in Roma Norte, which was a nice neighborhood and I enjoyed staying there, but it was very, like, there's a lot going on there all the time in Roma Norte. It's a nightlife neighborhood, so it's very busy all the time. There's a lot of traffic. There's a lot of foot traffic. There's a lot of, like, people, like, out late, going out late, getting drunk, and it's just sort of like, I don't know. It's a lot more going on there all the time, so it's definitely not as peaceful here. But I mean, of course, that's just because it's Mexico City. It's a huge city, lots of stuff going on all the time. Aguascalientes is a small city. There's about 800,000 people in the city itself. And then in the metro area, about 1 or 1.1 million total, if you include all the neighboring, like, suburbs areas. So it's a nice, peaceful city. It was a nice change after spending a month in Mexico City to come here to Aguascalientes, where it's a lot, like, more chill and more relaxed. And as you can tell already, we're like a block and a half off of the main street, and back in these neighborhood streets, these little, like, back streets here, is very peaceful. It's very relaxed. It's very nice. And this neighborhood also, the places where we stayed in Mexico City, and also a couple cities back in Bogota, in Colombia. They're very touristy neighborhoods, and that was something to me that, like, it's not something that I really dislike, but it's definitely not my favorite type of neighborhood to stay. The neighborhoods where I like to stay in neighborhoods where there aren't very many tourists, because I don't know, I kind of just like getting a feel for what life is like for people who actually live in those neighborhoods. And in this neighborhood, it's definitely not a touristy neighborhood. It's a very non-touristy neighborhood. There, like I said, like a lot of the stuff around this neighborhood is like furniture stores, mechanics, and like auto parts stores and stuff like that. It's the place where you go to like get new tires for your car. It's the place where you go maybe to go to the mall and hit the grocery store. It's the place where you go maybe to like shop for a bathroom fixture or something like that for when you're remodeling your house. It's a very non-touristy neighborhood, and I kind of like that about it. I like it because, like I said, it lets me like see what, just a normal, like kind of everyday average neighborhood is like in the city. It also helps me practice my Spanish, because when I was for example, in Roma Norte in Mexico City, like everybody was speaking English. I mean, I honestly heard English spoken more on the street and in restaurants and stuff like that than I did Spanish. So it's a very different kind of neighborhood here. It's like everybody speaks Spanish. You have to speak Spanish, which is great for me because I'm always looking to practice my Spanish to keep my skills up. But I think I want to walk back. You can see the OXXO on the corner there that we walked past, and we can walk back towards our actual neighborhood, the neighborhood where we were really staying. These streets that we just walked around over here are actually in like the El Dorado neighborhood, which is on the other side of the ring road here. If we can get back to the other neighborhood, you'll see it's pretty much the same. I mean, it's a very, like, once you get off the main street, just a very peaceful neighborhood, like nice, quiet, residential neighborhood. But in amongst, all the different residential houses and apartments and things like that, there are a few little like shops, supermarkets, and other businesses back there. So I don't want to make it out like this neighborhood is entirely residential and there's no commercial, because obviously right along here, along the street, the main street, there's plenty of commercial stuff, shops, restaurants, and things like that. Back at the main intersection here. The main intersection where I mentioned just down that way is the mall, Centro Comercial El Dorado. If we head back across the ring road here, we'll be back into like our little neighborhood where we were staying. Like I said, it's tucked away. It's only a few blocks, I would say. Like down maybe like 5 or 6 blocks that way, there's another intersection with a light. And then about 6 or 7 blocks, we're heading north now, 6 or 7 blocks north, there's another intersection with a light. It's in fact the same street at both intersections. It runs on a diagonal at the north end of the neighborhood. So basically tucked in between this major street, the ring road that we're crossing right now, and that diagonal street that runs to the north, like that's the neighborhood. It's basically just the few residential blocks that are tucked in that little like space. And I really liked it. It was nice and relaxing. I've said that a couple times, but honestly, I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to just stay in a neighborhood that's kind of boring. I remember when we were staying in Peru, in Lima, staying in a neighborhood called Lince, and all the reviews that I read of Lince were that it's just a boring residential neighborhood, and you're never going to see it as a tourist. You're never going to see it unless you're driving through it on your way from Miraflores up to El Centro or back. And when I heard that, I was like, excellent, I'm going to stay there. And I did, and I really enjoyed it. And let's say this neighborhood kind of reminds me of it. They were relatively similar in a lot of ways. Pretty simple residential neighborhoods, very non-touristy neighborhoods. If you're looking for videos about other neighborhoods in the other cities and the other countries that we've visited, I'm going to put a playlist down in the description of all the neighborhoods, the videos of all the neighborhoods that we've been through, that we've stayed in. Do a tour of every one. But I mean, here you can tell we're less than a block off the main street, and it's already like really quiet and very peaceful back here. It was very nice, and there's a mix of like some what I think are single family houses, also like larger multi-story apartment buildings. The place where we're staying is a nice 2-story. There's one unit on the ground floor and then 3 units up on top. Also on the ground floor there's a garage for people's cars. It's quite nice. And like I said, this neighborhood, I've walked around it a lot while we've been staying here, both during the day and at night, and definitely a nice, safe neighborhood. Feel comfortable walking around this neighborhood. Never felt like unsafe, and that's nice. I like that. There've only been maybe a couple of neighborhoods where we've stayed where I haven't really felt super safe, especially at night walking around. And that's always a bit of a hindrance, just because you're trying hard to like get back into the apartment, and if it's running late, you're like not sure if you want to go out and walk around. But I never felt that in this neighborhood. And like I mentioned, there are a couple of little supermarkets. This Deposito with the Coca-Cola that's unfortunately closed right now, but that's one of them. And like further up on the left hand side of the street here, like 1 block down and another block down, there's 2 more little supermarkets. So you can find like just if you need to just run out and grab like a bottle of water or something that you could pick up at a little convenience store. There's a couple of those in this neighborhood, and like I mentioned, a few blocks away, about a 10-minute walk, you can get to the big hipermercado. So that's about it. I think this video is probably going to end up being a little bit shorter than most of the neighborhood tour videos that we do, and I think that's good because honestly, like I said, it's a pretty simple neighborhood. It's just a simple, like pretty average residential neighborhood, peaceful, safe, exactly what I was looking for, honestly. And it's a nice change of pace after having stayed in Mexico City in what was like a very busy, very nightlife focused neighborhood, to come to a place that's basically just like very residential with, pretty boring streets. It's kind of nice change of pace. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for our neighborhood tour here in Aguascalientes. Of course, after this, we're going to be moving on to another city. This time still in Mexico. We're going to be moving on to a different city in Mexico, and you're going to have to stay tuned to find out what city that is. So, hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one.